Tom was on duty at the time. Tom was on duty at the time. Tom was sleeping on the sofa. Tom was sleeping on the sofa. Tom was helping us with that. Tom was helping us with that. Tom was married at that time. Tom was married at that time. Tom was unable to fix the latch. Tom was unable to fix the latch. Tom was wearing a blue shirt. Tom was wearing a blue shirt. Tom was the person in charge. Tom was the person in charge. Tom was working last weekend. Tom was working last weekend. Tom was very reluctant to go. Tom was very reluctant to go. Tom was a little moody today. Tom was a little moody today. Tom was a member of our club. Tom was a member of our club. Tom was unkind to his sister. Tom was unkind to his sister. Tom was snoring on the couch. Tom was snoring on the couch. Tom was wearing a gray hoodie. Tom was wearing a gray hoodie. Tom was at my house yesterday. Tom was at my house yesterday. Tom was very worried about it. Tom was very worried about it. Tom was wearing a sports coat. Tom was wearing a sports coat. Tom was the one who said that. Tom was the one who said that. Tom was a member of our group. Tom was a member of our group. Tom was a member of the choir. Tom was a member of the choir. Tom was a typical teenage boy. Tom was a typical teenage boy. Tom was a wimp in high school. Tom was a wimp in high school. Tom was sleepy, and I was too. Tom was sleepy, and I was too. Tom was bitten by a stray dog. Tom was bitten by a stray dog. Tom was sitting by the window. Tom was sitting by the window. Tom was at the meeting as well. Tom was at the meeting as well. Tom was understandably curious. Tom was understandably curious. Tom was very satisfied with it. Tom was very satisfied with it. Tom was very worried about you. Tom was very worried about you. Tom was much busier than I was. Tom was much busier than I was. Tom was a close friend of mine. Tom was a close friend of mine. Tom was being bullied at school. Tom was being bullied at school. Tom was very serious about that. Tom was very serious about that. Tom was wearing an orange shirt. Tom was wearing an orange shirt. Tom was a lifeguard last summer. Tom was a lifeguard last summer. Tom was frightened by the storm. Tom was frightened by the storm. Tom was understandably concerned. Tom was understandably concerned. Tom was very concerned about you. Tom was very concerned about you. Tom was worried about his health. Tom was worried about his health. Tom was writing a book last year. Tom was writing a book last year. Tom was afraid he might be fired. Tom was afraid he might be fired. Tom was appointed superintendent. Tom was appointed superintendent. Tom was sitting in the front row. Tom was sitting in the front row. Tom was a wrestler in high school. Tom was a wrestler in high school. Tom was working with us yesterday. Tom was working with us yesterday. Tom was a college student in 2013. Tom was a college student in 2013. Tom was in a coma for 3 weeks. Tom was in a coma for 3 weeks. Tom was afraid he might get fired. Tom was afraid he might get fired. Tom was the one who brought it up. Tom was the one who brought it up. Tom was the only boy in the class. Tom was the only boy in the class.